if you're BC, Jamie's, I need Jamie's to pop off here.
Yeah, maybe a fast early A play here for Beast Coast. All 5 players, many of which are taking the long way around. Few up top on Belt, but Ange here at close A main. Here's that Owl Drone get popped. Yields the ground. Gives way, and Beast Coast thinks twice.
Yeah,
and it's interesting, Doug, before I hand it over to you, I have one thing to say, which is, you mentioned the one duelist comp, a nice duel being won by Screwface. That worked earlier today for another team.
Yep.
T1.
See
whether or not that becomes a continuing trend.
Well, I want to see, so that dart, all right, hang on. Hang on here. There's no wall. Anderson. Anderson. Oh, he went under the tube.
Found them.
I thought for sure he was going to go up behind him. All right, Dimsum is going to have some info. He's going to have a really good idea of where they are, and he's going to get a chance. One. Looking for the second. Not. Oh, I didn't even see it. Doesn't matter. Beast Coast just down to 1. D-Cop by himself. He's going to try to heal himself up. Manages to get that pick onto Dimsum. And is now, I mean, still in a brutal spot. Screwface lands the final shots to take care of him. DHBK pick up right where they left off by winning the pistol.
We're just highlighting the merits of Dim Sum. I mean, basically the Lone Ranger over here towards the B side of the map entirely. Okay, check out the mini-map right now.
Boom.
And this off angle he plays just by the skin of his teeth, doesn't get spotted in that position, finds 2. And those are 2 huge kills that end up basically winning the pistol essentially for DHBK, where East Coast had found the opening, had found the entry, and maybe even found the site had they won that duel. Instead, Dim Sum, once again early on in this game, doing big work for DHBK. And early dart towards green over here at long B pushes back DHBK, and I don't even think East Coast is still being very careful. They're not even quite sure it's all clear yet, but they're taking their time with it.
Right, wisely. Just you know, double checking, crossing your T's, dotting your I's, making sure there's nothing else there. The thing is, Dim Sum did place some utility there, and it's a little bit further back, but there is some utility, and he's got Harmon right here with the Marshall on the cross just in case. Pretty good spot. You already see, really, BC they're fully investing here. They've taken their way at B long. They've got a couple of other members funneling their way forward. Anderson here, Harmon managed to get one with that Marshall through the smoke, I believe, and then Anderson and Dim Sum. I mean, East Coast is ripped to shreds here.
Still rocking the slimy Boogerman tag. Anderson cleaning up with 3. That is one thing that I will note. Just a caster's note here. I realize there's a month cooldown on the renaming, but maybe a new team name in store for DHBK, a new sweet tag. Unify the squad after this, guys. But, you know, still on the other side, you don't have Kohler and D-Cop tagged up either, but...
Well, and look, man, they keep playing like this. There's certainly potential for that in the future. They're looking good. They're up 2-0 here, and they're going to ride a bonus into this next round, right? East Coast fully buys up. They've got guns and armor. Meanwhile, DHBK really going with what was tried and true. They didn't change anything, and after a flawless round from a financial perspective, it makes sense to play it out this way.
And Dim Sum puts that turret over there towards long B. It takes contact, gets the information out that there are members from Beast Coast on approach. And that orb, D-Cop just one away from a resurrection, but no ultimates on the board just yet for either team. And as you mentioned, this bonus here, gonna slowly inch their way towards B. Tig, rocking the Sakura Vandal, a personal favorite of mine, is gonna take the initiative.
It is a good
one. But they do hold here. And I mean, this is kind of becoming what I think more and more teams are latching onto. Look at this lurk from Kohler. I don't even call it just this info that Kohler's getting.
Right. And you saw the dart come out. Kohler shot it out. I thought they might rotate over, but Beast Coast, excuse me, have fully committed to B. They're going to get onto the site. D-Cop gets the spike down, and now DHBK scurry over back to B to try to fight for this retake. It's going to be a 5-on-5. Remember, DHBK are rocking a bonus here, so gun advantage should technically be in favor of Beast Coast. Harmon with the Marshall, same spot we saw him here last time, was absolutely filthy. Looking to see if he can replicate that success. James goes first. Oh, what a good spot. Anderson able to get one. James trades it out, however, as Anderson is still alive with the Spectre, gets a second one on the round. as the clock continues to tick away. Harmon with the Marshall, but it's dropping down to just Harmon. In a 1v2. Oh my gosh! Are you kidding me? Harmon, you're insane!
Oh my goodness.
Not even close.
Not even close, Doug. 0.49, no sweat for the league player. Harmon collecting 3 on the round, and yeah, I was about to sing the praises of B-Dog, who had just made a firm defense there at the corner of yellow, finding 2 of his own, and then snatched away from the ghost of Harmon. Wow, 3 rounds already for DHBK, and I can't even sit here and try and dissect any mistakes coming out from Beast Coast. This is just exceptional individual and team performance coming out from DHBK in a way where it's almost seemingly like they could do no wrong, Doug.
Get out of my way.
As soon as they make
Nice
a
op
mistake, yeah, I mean, he
Yeah.
even takes damage on it. He still gets
He's down
the
to
frag.
5 HP, man. It wasn't just like, he didn't just get like grazed. He got messed up.
You gotta think, like, if you're on the receiving end of that, it's like you wish you had just gotten the kill. Like, everything in your body is just like, no
Right,
way.
That feels bad.
Just got robbed.
Yeah, that feels bad.
That's what you get for not buying a Vandal, I guess.
Beast Coast. I'm sure Kohler, I don't know how that didn't land, because I want to say he's a Vandal player. Anyway, Beast Coast here, financially, artillery, not a whole lot there. Jamie's opting to use the Blade Storm, and Anderson punishes him, takes care of him. Tig with the Sheriff, however, gets 1. The wall goes up. DHBK gonna have to fight for this retake here. And, well, this has already been...
You will not kill
I mean,
my
they're making it
ally.
expensive. It looks like they're going to try to go for it here, but the problem is that Rez was in such a brutal spot. B-Dog gets 1.
Last player standing.
DHBK's just down to 1. Beast Coast are doing this thing in thrifty fashion.
Somebody in chat must be spamming some pogs or dogs or whatever they are to help B-Dog, because that man is coming in huge with 3 Sheriff frags. And it could not come at a better time, where once again, momentum seemed to be rapidly, just getting sucked away from Beast Coast and being given right to DHBK. With every good thing that happens, 2 things just seem to go wrong.
Right.
And despite that happening, a heroic effort on the receiving end of some Sheriff frags there for DHBK. B-Dog handing them out in kind. And not only do you enter this round at least with full buy and an operator on Jamie's, which talked about a few times as being incredibly important. Screwface has one of his own, so this is going to be the first full buy for both teams in the half, Doug. And already,
Well,
I think.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Dimsum. So it's interesting. DHBK has the Blade Storm, and they put the operator in the hands of Screwface. Meanwhile, Dimsum has nothing but a Sheriff. The good thing about how they played out this map up until this point is that financially they could afford to still buy even after that goes sideways almost all the way. But it's just interesting that they value the operator in the hands of Screwface so much that they'd rather have that than put another rifle in the hands of a 5th member.
Oh my goodness, and there's the op duel. Jammies comes out on top. People's Advantage making its way into the game there, and Screwface loses 1. Tiny plant gets put down.
Harmon. Dude, Harmon, you called him the Savant, and so far, I mean, he's absolutely delivering, living up to the namesake. Anderson going in aggressive here. Dimsum with the Sheriff that I talked about early on. I mean, he's delivering. Rifle, Sheriff doesn't seem to matter. Anderson playing the smoke. He's going to have a chance at something. Jamie's drops as Anderson gets the best of him. Kohler in the smoke does the exact same thing. Responds in kind. Kohler with the second. Dimsum with 1. A 1v2 here. Kohler drops Harmon. Takes care of him, and they're going to get the defuse. A 3-round lead for DHBK here in the first half.
Wow. And even losing that opening op pick to Jammies, I mean, really impressive stuff on the retake. You get a shock dart frag, a classic first kill. I mean, what can't go right for DHBK right now? And honestly, having that level of depth in a roster this young, scary, and you can only imagine, right? There's not a ton of game fills you could have gone over if you're Beast Coast.
Right.
There's not a ton of research you could have done into this roster without having just faced it raw yourself, and now here we are, 4-1. By the way, Doug, whenever I cut you off like that, it's amazing how often we're about to say the same exact thing. I think that's magical. It's like if we were at land, we would be like, you know, Jinx, you owe me a caster beverage or whatever every round. Here we are now. We've got a few ultimates on the board, maybe some dueling lockdowns. Actually, you got a Hunter's Fury, I expect. Beast Coast probably is going to want to save theirs.
Yep.
We'll see.
Screwface taking a bit of an aggressive position with the operator again. You see the swagger with which they're playing. Screwface somehow gets away as well. Sure, there wasn't much on the other side of that, but he manages to get the kill and not take a lick of damage.
Just on top of their game right now. And I know I said this just probably 2 minutes ago, but it seems as though they can do no wrong. Even when something goes right for Beast Coast, and I mean that as going right for Beast Coast, not necessarily DHBK playing something perfectly. There's a lockdown, maybe to try and draw out that Hunter's Fury early. They're not biting.
Nope. Man,
Okay,
they're
30 seconds left.
Well, I mean, the fact that they aren't investing the Hunter's Fury, that they didn't even really bite, right?
All
Like, they're
over
still
B,
there.
Though. Screwface
Yeah.
retreated off of B, and now he's coming back.
There's the Hunter's Fury that we were talking about. Screwface is going to use the Blade Storm. Oh, but B-Dog behind him takes care of him. Harmon takes care of him as it shuts down to B-Top. In a 1v4. 1. For more. 2. 3. Oh.
That was looking hot.
Yep. That was
looking
looking real spicy.
Oh, man. I don't even know what to analyze there. The fake actually ended up working. Yeah, you didn't draw the Hunter's Fury out. You didn't even get another lockdown out necessarily for the lockdown today. But Screwface is sitting there at the top side of the B site, staring towards green and yellow, that cross towards the planner area, is basically under full-time surveillance. And then he just kind of, all right, I'm going to back up, give this ground, go back towards kitchen. And it ends up being not only the correct decision, but accidentally the perfect move, because you know, you saw Kohler, I think it was Jammies, a few players basically getting onto the site eventually and just getting shot from all directions without even realizing. East Coast already just looking stumped on the attack side here of Icebox.
Yep, and they're not going to have guns here. Again, Jamie's using the Blade Storm in an eco. That's really it. They've taken B-Long again, right? They seem to have some success, at least in getting this far, but it's everything else after that just seems to go a bit sideways. I think for DHBK as well, you've got a couple of bolts. Now they have a lockdown of their own that they don't have to worry about using in response to another one, and no Hunter's Fury to worry about either. Kohler's going to drop. Beast Coast just kind of getting picked apart here. And again, we mentioned they don't have much. This is the only thing they have here. And it's delivering for now. 3 Jammies. He's got 45 health here. He's going to dash away into his own Cloud Burst. As this would Jammies. Jammies already gotten 4. Jammies looking for the last one. 45 health. He's got the classic. No more blades to work with here, but he's got to go. He goes in aggressive. Jammies gets pushed back through his own Cloud Burst. 16 health. He's got to run for the fences here. There's no time for the defuse. Jammies doesn't get it. Screwface gets the kill, but Beast Coast get the round.
Man, we said it. You know, maybe it was the case a bit on Ascent in map 1 where some members of Beast Coast, in particular Jammies being one of them, coming up big with some heroics to claim a round or two. And here we are, where this is basically a DHBK round. You're in a 4-on-2 in the Blade Storm. The left clicks are coming out, and Jammies is sniping down range. And really, I'm disappointed he didn't get the ace there, because that was a clip and a half. Nice play from Jammies. He even gets himself an operator and forces the opponents, who he just decimated, back into the depths of an economic downturn, and pistols on board only the defenders of DHBK. And this like little default that they're doing, they're kind of leaving Kohler over, who honestly, he's tried to lurk a few times in this game and been found out very quickly with no results on it. So there are elements of Beast Coast that are still not going according to plan, or even some semblance of one. But despite that, they've found themselves in a very favorable situation here, Doug.
Yeah, but they've got to strike, right? Like there's window. You don't get a ton of windows like this, especially with how the first half has gone. You've got to capitalize on the fact that DHBK don't have much for guns, and Beast Coast is sitting in a pretty spot. They're going to hit B again. Let's see what DHBK can do to respond. Nice shot from Jamie's early on. Get the opening.
Decop trading blows with Ange at bottom sight. Get better. B-Dog, an actual successful lurk now. Anderson falls. Jammies with his second. Screwface alone under 2 with it all to do, and there is nothing to come of it. B-Dog finishes him. And now, you know, we've spent a fair amount of time talking about the things that DHBK is doing right. But right there, you cleaned up an anti-eco almost flawlessly. You've got an operator on your main duelist. Like there's a few things that for Beast Coast to come back into this game, like right here, right now, this upcoming round, really should tell the story for how this half is gonna go.
Yep. Yeah, I think you're right. It's almost like a checklist, right? Like you get them in a good spot financially, but then you've got to win that round. And the thing is, it's never a done deal, right? Like we've seen insane thrifty rounds, so you've got to capitalize on that. And then, like you said, this is the last check to get back into this thing, to make it competitive. Or I mean, yes, 2 out of 3, you're certainly better off than you would have been otherwise, but to really put the wind back in your sails, this is where Beast Coast need to capitalize.
From the shadows, giving a quick A rotate from Anderson, and wonder whether or not, like, Colercha is clearly just checked spawn. He knows that there's no Omen behind him or anything therein, but everybody kind of slows down, turns around, and holds up for just a minute before this A execute from BC comes underway.
Yeah, and DHBK know where it is, right? Like Screwface was anchoring down B long, so they knew they weren't there. The Reyna was watching middle, so they knew it had to go A, but it looks like now they're going to try to flip the map on its head. The lockdown has been used, and B-Dog is the first one there, but B-Dog's on an island right now. Kohler's going to get brought back into the fold. B-Dog needs to try to stay alive, potentially get a pick if he can, because the spike is just now making its way halfway across the map. The other thing to keep in mind is that the Jet is alone here as things have quickly turned over. Now it's Screwface, who's in a brutal spot where he's alone. He's got a knob and he's waiting for teammates to show up, but Screwface says, that's perfectly fine with me. Harmon shows up, able to take care of B-Dog, but the spike has to go down here. Cole with one, Jammies with the plan, he gets it off. Beast Coast just down to Jammies, however, as he's going to get pushed away. He's got 54 health. He doesn't have any health left. Actually, I lied to you. Harmon's going to get the defuse. DHBK are going to take a 3-round lead.
Oh, wow. That is a roller coaster of a round. DHBK, just another firm recovery. You know, there was definitely some uncomfortable scenarios being spelled out.
Yep.
Saw Screwface basically alone versus 5.
Well, and it was just like rewind a bit. Yeah, and rewind a bit. First, it was B-Dog who was in a brutal spot, right? He took the from the shadows and he was alone, buys enough time to stay alive, and then put Screwface in a bad spot.
Oh, yeah. And, you know, we talked how important that round was, Doug.
Yep.
Right? Like, this has been a little bit of a back-and-forth bout for the last 6 rounds, and now you're in a situation where economy was built up, things were good, and Anderson, Jammies, trading blows back and forth. Jamie's coming out on top again.
Okay.
This duelist on the side of Beast Coast is really make or break in all of these rounds for them.
No charges
He's
left.
making it now with 2 huge entry frags.
Now, DHBK just has 1 player on the site,
Spike
and
planted.
playing patiently, playing slowly. There's 100 theory, but Jammies takes care of Ange as well. 3 on the round for him so far, as DHBK are down to scraps. Really, 2 members, both coming in from the same side, Harmon and Screwface, with a tall order in front of them. They're outnumbered. They've got to somehow get past the defenses of Beast Coast and still get the defuse. And the thing is, it's been ticking away for a little while now, so it's not like time is on their side. It looks like they're just going to save, potentially get a couple of exits on the way out. I don't think they have a play on the spike here.
Yeah, I think Screwface needs to save this operator at all costs. Gets a frag for a consolation prize, but make that 2.
Dog.
And he should survive here. So this went from being, you know, they're cognizant of the fact that they can't let him save this operator, and they fail to silence him.
Yep.
Gets two of his own, gets his Blade Storm going. Now he's able to drop a rifle for Dim Sum, and they're going to get a full buy out of it.
Good guy. Good guy, Screwface. All right, we'll take a look at finances here in a minute again. Because of how close these rounds have been, that's something I want to keep a very keen eye on for DHBK. And they're down to a little bit here. Harmon's going to have that Marshall again. It's going to be full armor across the board. But this is a tricky spot for the boys on the defending side.
Yeah, Blade Storm gets pumped, Judge in hand for Jammies as their economy, you know, not exactly as good as it could be. Early A aggression, Screwface doesn't find anything for it, but gets the information at least. He's retreating as fast as he can back towards screens.
Dude,
and the omen from Anderson at least is going to bail him out for a moment as Jammies just jumps in and finds two more with a Judge, three more with a Judge. This man can't be stopped.
Dude, LW fully set onto the site, hunting for it. He's already got four, looking for the ace, and no, it gets robbed. He gets taken out, but D-Cop finishes what he was not, unfortunately, able to finish. BC get another round.
Judge, jury, and executioner, 16 and 11. This Jet main is the full story of Beast Coast's success here in this half. And I say success as they finally are able to climb, you know, beyond that financial hole. They've claimed 5 rounds on the half for an attack side icebox, Doug. This is shaping up to be a winning attack half, potentially, or at least, you know, we're drawing even at 6. You know, you're counting your blessings thus far if you're DHBK, maybe for some of those rounds that were close, but you want this last one now before going into half number 2.
Dude, for Beast Coast, hell of a response. After how the half started, for them to have the grit to get to this point where we're having a conversation about 6-6 is just very impressive. They're going to get the wall up. It looks like they're going to get the spike down as well. DHBK has already lost one member. To try to fight to take the site back. Jammies has just been a man possessed for Beast Coast here as DHBK just have 2 members remaining in the round. Nothing to save for, no reason to hold anything back. Dim Sum gets 1, but he gets traded out and is alone. And he's not around for long. Beast Coast, again, given how the half started, for them to get to 6-6 at half is impressive.
Wow. And, dude, Doug, Jammies looks angry. Okay, like just the way he's whipping back and forth, he's pressing this attack, and it's like a follow me mentality. He's leading from the front every round, finding the first contact and winning his duels, and in this case, closing out with a 4K. An incredible clutch, and certainly has changed the tide, changed my tune, changed the perspective and outlook of this match, as now we're all 6s. And you know, I haven't spoken about him much, Doug, but I'll just touch on it quickly. I wonder how they're going to work with Ange on this attack, because he looked very out of sorts, almost uncomfortable on defense, over towards B alone as Reyna. I wonder whether or not he's got something in store for us in terms of maybe entering on the Reyna, but not altogether out of the woods yet is Beast Coast. They've got a lot of Valorant left to play here.
Yeah, dude, however, with Jamie's, let's be perfectly clear here. Jamie's almost had an ace twice, right? 4Ks, impressive 4Ks. It wasn't, you know, like you just randomly shot him all in the back or whatever. It was a Blade Storm and it was a Judge. It was flashy, and he came, I mean, right on the precipice of getting ace twice, right? Like if Jamie's, you mentioned he's playing angry, he's full sending, right? Playing with confidence, and that can be terrifying. A Jed who's feeling herself, nah, man.
It can be terrifying and it can be inspiring. And if you're just looking at this scoreboard right now, and of course, frag counts, stuff like that, it doesn't tell the whole story, so I'm not going to try to. But you got to think that how uncomfortable every single individual of Beast Coast looked throughout the duration of Ascent. You know, flipping sides here over at on Icebox, excuse me. It really seemed at certain points, you know, especially when they were down, what was it, 5-1 at one point?
Yeah.
It really would have been too easy for us to just continue that storyline of, well, Beast Coast didn't come to play and DHBK did. And instead, a rallying cry of sorts out of those clutches can swing the momentum. We talk about it a lot. That morale is a big thing. Confidence is huge in these kind of close series. Right away, we see a recon bolt coming out towards green. And that crane will grant some vision to the side of DHBK, who's going to take this B long orb and perhaps press forward towards yellow. This is not too unlike what we saw from T1 earlier, just in the premise, at least, of denying vision, taking some map control, making BC wonder and guess a bit.
We'll see DHBK here. They're showing a little B,
Coming back.
but you can see they're not fully committed to this hit here. Meanwhile, Dimsum is taking real estate. He's getting closer and closer. Jamie's the only one here. Well, and if Dimsum, all right, they're going back to B. Or at least they're heavily mulling it over more than they were before. Dimsum's starting to rotate back out. It looks like that's where they want to go. Kohler's got utility to kind of keep them at bay here. Let's see. All right, here they go. The dart comes out. The paranoia goes out as well.
30 seconds
And
left.
swings first. Screwface looking for a little something as well. He's going to dash back. The members of Beast Coast are starting to show up as well. And they're showing up at just the worst possible time as Screwface and Anderson are already able to get one apiece. Tig on the other side of the smoke looking for something. He gets it. B-Dog gets it as well.
10 seconds
3v3 here. Harmon still hasn't got the spike down. He's going to have to hurry. B-Dog gets another one again. The spike just continues to get delayed, but DHBK, I mean, just narrowly steal that round away.
Watching that back in slow-mo, I'm not even quite sure. I think Harmon pulled off of the plant to swing on the player behind double, gets the frag, dies immediately, and yeah, Dimsum cleaning it up in what was a nanosecond of a 1v1 before it was all over. But I mean, considering how checking the scoreboard here, 6 rounds have gone in favor of mostly Beast Coast, firing on all cylinders to end the first half. A pistol round is a huge win here for DHBK, where perhaps their dominance was faltering for a bit. Now you gotta wonder, can they bring it back again?
DHBK having some prettier weapons here. I think I saw a Bulldog as well, so they certainly weren't bashful in how they decided to spend their money. Meanwhile, Beast Coast were pretty patient. Maybe one better pistol, but by and large, they're not going to have much to work with here in this round.
I have the
Beast Coast, they have some utility over on B, so Kohler kind of strapped at least to this half of the map for now, and they've fully invested everything towards A.
Yeah, and at 7-6, you have a lot of rounds to work with. No reason to overspend here. And things are about to get really sketchy here, Doug.
Oh, it's just noise, man. It's just noise. It's eye candy. Look at how Beast Coast just bite on everything. B is entirely left alone. They're able to get onto the side. Dimsum is clearing everything out to his chagrin, finding there's no one there. They're going to be able to get the spike down by themselves. They have room to work with, spread out, assume very comfortable post plants. And BC, I mean, the gun's not in a great spot. Losing control of the site as well certainly doesn't feel good, but D-Cop getting a big one there.
Oh my goodness, all of these engagements are so precarious, and Dimsum pays with his life. Anders really was hoping to get that paranoia out. He does not. Now it's a 2-on-3. Ange, I mentioned in the previous half, getting a bit uncomfortable. Now he's in full reign of form. I'm going to take these Bulldog fights. And Kohler actually is going to win the first one. Now it's just Harmon in another 1v1. Finds 3 on the round. 8-6, even gets his Hunter's Fury up to boot. And here we go. DHBK. Once again, things are going right for Beast Coast on a round where maybe it shouldn't. And DHBK, who seemingly can do no wrong, come out on top, Doug.
They just extinguish, right? That's like sucking air out of the room where it looks like Beast Coast look good. They've got the positions, everything is working out, and then bam, DHBK take it all away from them. Harmon went nuts there. I thought it was going to be Ange, to be honest with you, who had the Bulldog, but Harmon had one of his own. Very well played by DHBK. But now Beast Coast here. Again, look, the thing that's interesting to me about Beast Coast. Uh-oh, there's that kind of fury that you mentioned earlier. Don't know that
Almost TK Screwface. Oops.
Yeah, but it created room for Screwface to get in. Ultimately, Tig takes care of him. Tig gets the second one on Anderson as well. He's going to get pushed back. East Coast with the numbers advantage.
Like a balloon tied to an anchor. Just once more, the wind in the sails dissipates, and DHBK looks like they're out of a round, but we've seen this so many times before. I am not ruling them out here, Doug, as Ange gets aggressive, finds one. Kohler does get one before he falls. Harmon now in another 1v2. He finds one, he finds two. 1v1 now. Dancing around. The movement is too strong from D-Cop, draws out the spray, and Harmon will fall despite his efforts. And you know what, Doug? Despite, you know, those efforts that I just mentioned, you got 4 frags. All right, Beast Coast's money is not going to be looking pretty in this next round. You get a spike plan out of it. You invested a Hunter's Fury. Things could have been worse here.
Yep. Yeah, and that was for Beast Coast. You got to feel good. They're getting that round. They should have. I mean, they've got something.
A little bit.
Yeah, they've got something, right? It's not the worst. Meanwhile, for DHBK, you see they've got certainly less, right? They're going to be bringing pistols into this one. Don't know that they're going to try to do anything spicy with it. And this is, again, an opportunity for Beast Coast here to tie us up and to really take control of this map.
And early orb at A main for Beast Coast. So Tig will have his Hunter's Fury in hand if it comes to it this round. To prevent at least a spike plant, perhaps. But a very spread default coming up from DHBK. One of those standard sheriff buys where it's like, yo, everybody go take a duel. Find me some map control, see what's open, see what they're doing. And Screwface over here at mid doing just that. We'll find no one for the time being. It'll be Ange to fight the turret first. Or takes a long range Vandal ADS spray. Very nearly takes down one, if not two, of those players.
Yep. Oof. Yep, that doesn't feel good. Jamie's taking Ange out. DHBK looking to flip the map. Well, I mean, reasonably so, right? They have some control of mid. They certainly have control of A, as Harmon has made his way all the way up, entirely uncontested.
30 seconds
I mean,
left.
there's a tight 50 here. Oh, no. All right, B-Dog. The timing. Oh! Harmon! Harmon snaps on him and takes him out. Tig trades it out. But at this point, DHBK should have room to work on the site. The thing is, they only have 2 members left, and one of them has nothing for health. He's going to drop. BC tie us up. They refuse to go away.
Silver lining again. If we're hunting the good stuff for DHBK, you at least get the Hunter's Fury out of Tig. But Beast Coast, right? Like, that was actually the most unfortunate timing / situation for B-Dog at screens. Harmon rips his head off, but East Coast slowly but surely, Doug, 1 round at a time.
Yep.
Staying in this game, and not just the game, but their series and closed qualifier hopes are tied to this map. Already heroics from Jammies at 22 and 16, man. This guy, he really wants to win. Really wants to advance and have a chance to play for that Masters qualification next weekend in the closed qualifier, but many rounds left to be played. D-Cop with this Guardian, who's shown us how sick he can be with it. Has this aggressive wall deep mid. There's a hole in it now, of course, but it's an interesting way to handle any kind of a mid lurk or aggression. See this too often.
Oh, yeah, you really don't. But you already see Anderson kind of trying to take some of that space back. Right, the smoke's going to go out just to make sure there's nothing, and they feel a bit more confident in their ability to swing out. But D-Cop, there he is, the Guardian, man. You called it. He's good for 1 at least.
Turret destroyed.
That's enough to at least scare him off for the moment. Screwface has gained the ground needed over here at the wires, now at the bottom of B's site. Killjoy lockdown comes in, but Ange somehow finds a lineup. 2 Vandal headshots instantly turn the tide in the favor of DHBK. Screwface securing that now with a 4-on-2 advantage. And Ange, who maybe has had some quiet moments in the series thus far, comes up huge for DHBK when they need somebody to. He's already stalling the jet over here at screens.
Yeah, that was a big one. We'll see B-Dog. Ange might have another chance here up against B-Dog as you see Jamie's... Well, he had a chance. Well, didn't work out. You see Jamie's, he's all the way. It's like, nope, I don't want it, right? Like, I'm going to keep this up. I don't want the heat. B-Dog, you go see what you can find. And for B-Dog, yeah, he's going to lurk around. Maybe you try to get a pick, but well, it didn't pan out. It didn't work out for him. But DHBK are going to take a one-round lead again.
Now, see, this is what I was telling you about. There's like bunnies and squirrels. I guess there's a squirrel. Is that a worm or a snake up there?
Yeah,
I don't know,
like
man.
Snake.
But there's like bears and hidden animals in all the maps. Guys, if you didn't know that,
You should run.
one of my favorite parts about Valorant maps is all the little Easter eggs scattered about. But look at that. I mean, Kohler is playing his position back there, and he's certainly been exploited through mid. It wasn't his doing, but just looks helpless. Not a whole lot of recourse in that scenario where, you know, they've kind of overwhelmed your side of the map. Your face takes advantage of that. You have a Hunter's Fury, you have a Blade Storm. You've got From the Shadows where they've used it, I think, once in this half aggressively, but what I'm trying to say is Anderson is not shy when it comes to that Omen ultimate.
There.
Willing to pop it and get aggressive with it, which is the trademark move of a scary Omen player. He's proved to be thus far, and Owl Drone instantly coming out. This is, no doubt about it, going to be a fast 5-man B play from DHBK, but they haven't shown their hand till now. The rotates will come in from Beast Coast.
Dimsum should be able to get the spike down. You see James with the op from up top. He's been so good with that weapon, and he's going to get a chance to flex on that again. Harmon clearing out that corner that Kohler normally plays. Unfortunately, it was decop for him this time around. Jamie's, however, good for one. Screwface trades it out as Anderson is on the push-up. Beast Coast down to 2. And for them, it's a good 2. Kohler, good for 1. B-Dog, good for 1 as well. Kohler's going to drop a 1v2 in favor of DHBK. B-Dog, oh, B-Dog goes in aggressive. Screwface greets him by slicing his face apart. 3K for him. DHBK take a 2-round lead.
And there was just so many awesome things to watch there from DHBK. Harmon right at the end there in that 2v2 pops the Hunter's Fury just to deal with the lockdown so his teammate can handle a 1v2 gunfight. Like, the presence of mind on the side of DHBK to be making the plays that they are, right? Anderson, Screwface on the B site, dancing around cover, not really taking much damage for their efforts, essentially coming away with clean kills before they get, you know, traded out themselves.
Yep.
And then that stellar play from Harmon that I mentioned, his Sova is very good, clearly, and he's showing us why. And DHBK, who's in the driver's seat now, just economically and momentum-wise, they are just all out executing on sites now. First B, now A, Doug, and Decop with this Bucky on site is all alone.
Yeah, I mean, for Beast Coast, the good... Well...
The flank, never mind.
Yeah, man, I was about to point out they have mid-control. They have a couple of members going in from the flank. They've got a decent shot at this retake, but Harmon, yeah, it was Harmon who just sniffs it out, cleans it up. No longer a problem. Beast Coast. The problem is here, for as close as it's been, for as much as Beast Coast have played this bend as much as you can, but don't break. The problem is here, the bending is real late in the game, right? Like, this isn't a, 4-4 and it's been close, but there's still plenty of rounds. There's room for us to drop a couple of rounds and we're okay. That gap, that window is closing very quickly. 11-8 here. That was one of their rounds that, well, it was a late pistol round, right? You kind of presumed that they're going to lose it, but Beast Coast can't afford that again.
They need something to go their way, and they were, something that went right for them in the last half was a 4K Blade Storm eco round win from Jammies. And I mean, I hate to kind of sound cliche about it, but somebody's got to step up, man.
Yep.
And there's been asks throughout this game from Caster Lex where I'm like, something's got to give for Beast Coast to win this somehow. And Jammies take a few times. Like, these players have delivered. But to continuously ask that of them and expect continuously consistent results is just, it's asking too much, Doug.
Wow.
A minute left on the clock. Pretty much everybody from DHBK is over here.
Alright,
Get underway.
Yep, here we go. They're going to funnel in. The paranoia is going to come out just a bit wide as DHBK continue to etch onto the site. Tig gets one. That's a good start. As Ange is taken out, they still fight for control of the site. The spike hasn't gone down. And you see Dim Sum potentially considering, all right, he was just holding down the flank. Tig's still there. The spike is going to go down. Shock dart, not going to connect onto anything. Kohler good for Harmon. Kohler good for Anderson. Kohler good for 2. As Beast Coast sitting pretty here.
Tig and Kohler both answering the call that put to them just now a moment ago. Some not dead yet. Tig finds 3, dude. That is exactly what Beast Coast need. They need it consistently throughout the rest of this game. And, I mean, honestly, you spoke to it in the pregame, and once or twice we've gotten to see it over 2 maps where Kohler shows off his cracked aim and really opens things up either on a retake or into a site for the side of BC. But, you know, I wonder whether or not in the future, like, this team can, I don't know, move him to another agent or something, because I really feel like he's being underutilized as far as just how willing he is to take those gunfights. I mean, he's taking it to him when he can.
Take flight.
And right there, him and Tig really step up to the level we expect them to be at. Still a res only on... Whoa!
Nice.
In that top 2 peak where
Nice.
I thought Anders was going to sit tight, but Jammies finds the first 5v4 now.
Yep, 5v4 in favor of Beast Coast to have a couple of vaults in their back pockets. DHBK, you see them taking space across B, but they haven't committed to it. The spike across the middle. Dim Sum going to try to rotate over and see if he can get some room, but as quickly as Beast Coast get a window, DHBK punch right back.
Such a tense moment over here at Long Beach where both jets just feet, meters away. You talk with an A main push that catches a Dim Sum unawares. That's a lot of information. That's a lot of map territory that now just question marks for DHBK. They're almost forced to commit here at B with 35 seconds left on the clock.
Well, I mean, they have to, right? Like they've created some room and they have a decent idea of where at least one of the jets is, so they have to commit here. They don't have time to go elsewhere. Ange with a big shot onto D-Cop. 3v3 here. DHBK also has the Hunter's Fury for the post plant potentially. You see him back up. He has to stay alive as Beast Coast. It's on them now to retake the site to try to get things back in their favor. The Empress has been used by Ange, who, as you mentioned, has been quiet, but is going to have an opportunity for something special here. Here's the Hunter's Fury. You heard it tap, trying to push him off, but Screwface good for 1. He's going to dash back up. East Coast. Trying to go with Jamie's here. Jamie's is going to drop Ange for 3. The Empress, he goes up. B-Dog rips him down, but Ange gets 4. DHBK get to map point.
Ange, who I've cited a few times as having stepped up and come up big for this team in the second half particularly, comes away with 4. And several times in that round, Doug, you pointed out, Beast Coast had basically put all the odds in their favor. They had a lot of information, had that early kind of aim main aggression that yielded a flank frag. And yet, somehow, once more, DHBK has clawed back into the light, and now they are on map and series point, 12-9. All 5 players are biding their time, playing this slow and cautious to ensure that this does not go one round further.
Hey, here we go for Beast Coast. Jamie's using the Blade Storm, but 5 ultimates to work with here. DHBK, yeah, they have the leads, yeah, they have guns, but working through those, working through the Hunter's Fury, working through the lockdown, the Blade Storm in the hands of Jamie's, who's been absolutely insane, can prove to be difficult, but Screwface tipping things in their favor with the opening pick onto B-Dog.
Screwface has been so impressive throughout this series, but finally we see that res come up big. See back on 5 players, A exec underway for DHBK. From the shadows into sight, dark cover on the back rafters. Paranoia comes out. Lockdown comes in from the defense. And those shock darts need to either clean it up or it needs to get dropped. There it goes. 4-on-4 now, Doug.
You should run.
Jamie's is good. There's the other lockdown that's going to be used in response along with the Hunter's Fury from Tig. The spike is down here. Beast Coast have to make a move. Jamie's is going to drop. Screwface takes care of him, and he's going to use a Blade Storm of his own. Now Beast Coast again. They've got to go here. Tig taps on it, but pulls back off. D-Cup goes big. Tig does as well. It's just down to Ange, and he is not able to pull it off. Beast Coast live to fight another round.
Wow, man. East Coast hold on by their fingernails. And you know what? You know, I keep expecting them to crumble. You know, DHBK 2 or 3 different times in that round. Screwface with the entry. The lockdown comes in. You even saw, I believe that was Tig, wrecking the Hunter's Fury into his teammates' back to get that lockdown situated. And instead, the retake goes fantastically for Beast Coast. The 3-on-3 yields basically no deaths. Now it's 12-10. You've got a mostly full buy for Beast Coast. You've gotten the op out of the hands of Screwface. And not to seem like there's nothing left in the tank that they can draw on, but yeah, the initiative goes back towards Beast Coast, and Ange gets popped immediately by an aggressive op from Jammies.
Ooh, and Screwface is already certainly worse for wear. Things looking real good for Beast Coast here, and they're doing so without all of the ultimates that they had, right? I mentioned they were going to throw everything that they had at him, and it was tough on DHBK, but Beast Coast is showing that they can do so even without that in their pockets. A 5v3, maybe a 5v2.5, if we want to call it that.
Yeah.
Beast Coast looking good this round.
Things going right for Beast Coast. Things that, from the last map as Judgment, the first half as Judgment, we've been seldom saying that. You know, things going right for Beast Coast, but here it is. And as you said, 5 versus 2.5, 40 seconds left on the ticker. Spike in hand over here at Long B, and this Jammies op posted over here at the right side of yellow. An off angle, and sure to be one that the likes of DHBK, if they want to go towards B, will have to cross. But I wonder, with their economy on the line, 25 seconds left. Did they just save here, Doug?
Yeah, I was actually just thinking that, because if this goes sideways, right, and it already has, I don't know that they're going to have a ton financially to go into this next round.
Oh my gosh. He's going to get the op. No way.
Surely they don't go for the round.
No. But I'm freaking out because I keep saying things are going right for Beast Coast. And something very right just went for DHBK going into the last round here. Going to be able to afford an operator now.
Yep.
And by afford, I mean carry that into the next round. And you know, they won't have a full buy, but Screwface has entried so many times for DHBK. That's huge.
Rebalancing checkbooks, seeing how far their money can stretch. Ange is going to have a sheriff. No ultimates really for either squad here. This is just going to come down to gunplay. Again, DHBK, they've really been in control for the majority of both halves. It just so happened that Beast Coast, at the very end of the first half and at the end of the second half, they roar back to life and they keep things competitive. Now, Beast Coast sitting pretty here. They have guns for days. They are way better off financially than DHBK are, and they're really poised here to send us to overtime.
And East Coast has mostly been willing to give Long B throughout this half. When they've fought it, things have usually gone well for them. In contrast here, Screwface gets a lot of free ground and gets to post on this defender spawn rotation. And Kohler taking some really bold dry peeks now. Oh, and he gets the first one to Screwface. That is huge.
I mean, that was their calling card, right? Like, that was their ace in the hole. Dimson should... Nope. No, he's not. Ladies and gents, it looks like almost a foregone conclusion here. The artillery problem that we painted for DHBK at the beginning of the round might be what sends us to overtime. Ange here with one. Harmon with one as well? No way. Surely not. Surely not. Right, Harmon? has a good idea of where one player is. The problem is the spike isn't down, right? Like, there's no equalizer here to apply pressure onto Beast Coast. The things are only 15 seconds left. DHBK have to quickly get onto the spike and get it down, but you got to be careful about the Soba. Tig on the flank. Tig good for one, looking for the second. We're going to overtime.
OT. You know what, man? With as exciting as this series has been for me to watch, I should not be surprised at all that Beast Coast rally once more to throw things into their favor. And it really, the biggest frag of the round, hats off to Kohler for being able to collect 2 with his Killjoy in bottom of B site. I mean, we're talking about just millimeters of, I don't know, leg being shown by Screwface there on the left side of yellow. That's all Kohler needed to find 2 of the biggest impact frags in this half so far for himself. And Jammy's at 27 and 21, still leading the charge for Beast Coast, but it really seems like the rest of his team has joined him.
Yep.
Whereas DHBK has cooled a bit, but again also has a significant part of their team chiming in big in this second half as well. So OT, first start, already an op on Jammies.
Yeah, they both, Screwface and Jammies both brought ops into the fold. The spike goes down. DHBK seemingly able to hold fast on A with little problem. So far, the spike is in a horrible spot for Beast Coast. They're going to have to get through the defenses of DHBK and still get onto the spike to be able to plant it. It's a tough ask, but again, in overtime here, you've got to make it happen. Tig gets onto the spike, gets it down that wall, buying some time and creating some space. Now it's on DHBK with the numbers advantage to try to take this bad boy back. Tig from up top, gonna get a chance at something here. One, Screwface. Oh, with the op 2, Tig, good for 3 already. Tig's putting the round on his back as he's trying to put DHBK away to give them the lead, but Screwface with the op, good for 1. B-Dog gets 1. It's just down to Dim Sim. Dim Sim's gonna drop. Jammies gets the shot. Beast Coast take the lead.
Wow, man. I mean, you remember just at the beginning of that round, you know, DHBK puts themselves in a 5v3, almost unlosable position with where that spike ended up landing. And I wonder whether or not staying a little bit longer on that A site cost them perhaps the map, at least that round. And I mean, it was brave of D-Cop to kind of sprint in there with the spike out in hand, put the wall down and try and plant, but I wonder whether or not they thought that site was clear, or clearly he did, but Anderson made a play, Harmon made a play, but DHBK has nothing to show for it. And really, I mean, Doug, you called it, but that heroics from Tig around that dark cover, just shutting things down, almost even getting the third through the smoke on a Screwface. Like, given how things were going, this is Beast Coast where we expected Beast Coast to be.
Yep. We are currently just exited. We just exited attack pause on the from DHBK, understanding the gravitas of the moment, trying to put Beast Coast away. DHBK on the attacking side here going to use Harmon's drone initially to create some space. And look, man, we called it in the second half. You pointed it out. Beast Coast very comfortable with giving up B long here.
Which I feel like there's a lot of reason to believe that it should be working against them. But more than once, you know, just having Kohler alone over here or Jammies with an op has still netted them the first frag, or at least the round. So there's no fault in that as of yet, but definitely DHBK keeps returning to this point in time where they make some A presence, they take long B control, they go quiet, they make BC wonder where they are, and here we are now. You know, in the coming seconds, you'll see this B execute come out from DHBK, the dark covers land, and it's all on Kohler once more to make this hold a reality.
Spike drop.
Just needs to buy time. Buy time for Beast Coast to get there. And starting to plant. Looking to get the spike down. It's going to get pushed off of it. Again, just buying time. just enough time for Decop to show up. Anderson, very well played. He gets around him. Dimsum's on the flank. He spots a couple of players, and if he can just hold fast and keep them at bay, he keeps them out of the play. But DHBK have fallen apart. It's just Screwface alone. He's good for one, but with 5 seconds left, there's just no time. Beast Coast, they look like this map was lost so many times, but they refuse to go away. Bend but don't break continues to be the theme for Beast Coast as they take us to map 3.
And there's really only one word that can describe